Hello, we're at the Wallace Collection in London, where 9 artists are about to paint 3 famous faces.
They're not always using paint either. One's using charcoal, one's using wax, and one has thrown the canvas away entirely and is using a tile that he bought at the local DIY store.
Joan, I love you.
Get on with the programme.
Welcome to Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year.
This year, the Wallace Collection in London is home to the heats of the competition. And today, 9 new artists tackle the portraits of the great and the good, of the big and the small screen.
She's got a really interesting face, really beautiful.
Over 4 hours, they must showcase their talent to the judges. Art historian Kate Bryan, award-winning artist Taishan Schierenberg, and independent curator Kathleen Soriano.
So I think we go with those 3, can't we, for sure?
They just take all the attention, don't they? The strong
absolutely.
painting.
All for the chance to win a £10,000 commission to paint the portrait of one of our best-loved broadcasters, Graham Norton, for the permanent collection at the National Gallery of Ireland.
I mean, sort of fiddling, whether it's good fiddling or bad fiddling, I don't know.
But whose keen eye and masterful brushstrokes
It may be a gamble, but what the heck.
We'll see them through to the semi-final.
Someone came up to me and said, Bill's about to start waxing.
About to wax.
I nearly arrived in a robe. Among the artists who have made it to today's heat, 6 are amateur. Robin Bonar-Law, Michaela Walker, Bill Bone, Millie Midgley, Harry Wills, and Amit Vadher.
I've been just constantly just painting in my head. Even last night, I couldn't even sleep. I think I was just dreaming painting.
And 3 are professional artists: Christopher Banahan, Emilione Palmer, and Phoebe Cripps.
I think with the time, it's really good to try these limits. It can push me to maybe try a new technique and maybe discover something.
As the artists set up, the judges take a look at the self-portraits they entered with. Having only seen a digital version, confronting the real thing can be a bit of a revelation. So, we begin.
I find this a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Shall we stand back a bit?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
Yeah.
What was great about this, though, I think, is a lot of portraits submitted had artists standing at their easels with their brushes, but here she's taken actually the medium of the paint and is smearing it all over herself, because actually she's the portrait. And this is our more traditional School of Florence painting, isn't it? That sort of very capable, very good portrait painting.
What I really loved about this was the intensity of that gaze and that expression, that you really were transported somewhere with them.
Feels like a scene from a novel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
While this is their first encounter with most artists, the judges are very familiar with one of them, who took part in the last series. Let me take you for a little walk down memory lane. So this is Bill.
We've got that same brilliant pointillism style he uses, but actually you can see he's progressed, hasn't he?
You're absolutely right. It felt before like the portrait was imposed on the surface, whereas now it feels like the portrait is emerging from the surface. So there's maybe more of a subtlety in the way in which he's constructing the outline of the image.
To me, it's like this idea that we're all composed of all these atoms. You know, we've all got stardust, and here we just happen to have gathered a few of them together to make this individual.
Yeah.
And finally,
It's perfect selfie generation stuff, isn't it? It's got this sort of very youthful, fun, you know, dismissive attitude.
As a sort of middle-aged painter, I look at this and I think, wow, that is cheeky. And using photography and not being ashamed of it, you're right. It's being very honest and saying, I'm doing this, and I'm of this generation, and I don't care what you think.
I hope they can bring some of that kind of cheeky spirit today.
well, we'll soon find out.
I think everyone else's work looks so amazing. It's so diverse and so different. I feel everyone's got their own style, which is really interesting. It's a bit daunting, actually.
Amateur artist Amit Vada is from Hayes in Middlesex. After completing an art foundation course at Central St Martin's in London, he went on to study for a degree in animation. Eager to loosen up his style, he's been experimenting on different surfaces and has painted his self-portrait on a floor tile.
In my self-portrait, I wanted it to look quite regal, quite elegant, just quite fragile, which I kind of thought the tile looked. But I decided to work on oil painting paper today because it's slightly quicker to work on, and I practiced under the tile, but I couldn't give the tile any justice in 4 hours.
Oh, what am I doing? Okay, focus. Sorry, I've just seen your brushes.
Actually, that's only about a third of my collection,
Really?
but
Oh, wow, you've got a feather as well.
yeah, you never know.
The artists have almost everything they need. Paints, canvases, brushes, even wax. The only thing missing now is someone to paint. So artists, you're wondering who is our sitter today. Well, let me tell you, I often watch Sky Atlantic's Hotel Secret screaming, this is the best job in the world. And your sitter is the man who has that job. He's also a fabulous and much-loved actor. He's Richard E. Grant. Richard's career has spanned over 30 years, and his more recent roles have seen him join the cast of some of television's most popular shows, from Downton Abbey to Girls to Game of Thrones.
Hi, what's your name?
Rob.
How old are you?
22.
Hi, I'm not 22. How old are you? 58. I'm 59. How old are you?
I'm 59.
I'm 59. Snap.
We both look great on it, don't you think?
I do.
That's the joy of not having a proper job. Are you thinking, oh God, I hope they don't point out my ...
I have a face like an undertaker's assistant. Big slab, and unless I smile, I look miserable.
As presenter of the Great British Bake Off, your sitter is no stranger to celebrating creative talent, so please welcome Sue Perkins. A writer, actor and presenter, Sue's TV roles have introduced her to everything from baking to super eating and even conducting orchestras.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
How
Nice
does
to be here.
How does it feel?
It feels good. I'm going to do this a lot. Is that okay?
Oh, that'd be wonderful for
Okay.
painting. I think the challenge is to capture something of your personality, which is already restless.
Well, that's why they've brought the nail gun, I think, just so that they can make sure they're static for a while. I'm going to give them the best sort of still Susan I can, and we'll see how it goes.
Artist, your sitter today is an extremely talented and versatile actress. She's the fabulous Nina Sosanya. Star of W1A and Last Tango in Halifax, Nina can tackle anything from Shakespearean drama to TV satire. Nina, welcome.
Thank you.
Please, your throne.
Thank you.
Is there a level of performance in sitting to be painted, do you
I
think?
have no idea yet. I'll find out.
This is your first time ever?
Yeah. I posed for a sculptor once. And that was more to do with sort of torso twisting, and I was on a lazy Susan.
Were you really?
Yeah,
No.
like a piece of cheese.
Right, we're going to hand you over to the artist as to how you might sit. So what do you think, guys?
However you feel comfortable, really.
All right.
Yeah, it's 4 hours. I guess you're going to have to be comfortable.
This might be it. Then.
Yeah, you very naturally put an arm on the armchair. So I think if you have an arm up...
And maybe pick a spot where you're just looking at, so...
OK, I'm a face. If I face sort of there, then I'm sort of giving everyone sort of equal access to the full horror.
face.
I'm just working on the face, so
Yeah,
over
I'm
to you
just going to
two.
be working on the face too.
Just the face.
Yeah,
You've got to come up with a good
Just the
expression
face.
that you can keep.
OK.
It'd be hard to keep up a smile, though, for 4 hours.
See, that's
That's good,
nice.
actually. That's
Just
very
how you
good.
are
Yeah.
is really nice.
Yeah.
Artists, your challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your portraits, and the time starts now.
Right, this is where I'm going in.
Whether it's to help decide composition or secure an accurate likeness, 8 of our 9 artists are all starting their portraits with a photograph before putting any kind of mark on the canvas.
If you could find one with a jawline, that would be amazing.
Brilliant.
Just gotta wait for Photoshop to open up. Come on now.
Since graduating in graphic design from Falmouth, Robin Bonar-Law works a 54-hour week in his local North Devon pub. With his photorealist style and not used to having a sitter, Robin's relying on his standard setup to help him today.
This is actually Photoshop, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I did graphic design at university, so Photoshop's my baby. It's like, the colours on the screen aren't necessarily what I'll put on the page.
But for the drawing, it's what you need, yeah?
Yeah, I need better reference points, so I got my dots just to...
It's interesting, yeah, because you say that you've trained in graphic design, and there is definitely a kind of very design-like quality to what you've done so far.
Yeah, I did fine art for university, and then went into graphic design. I always loved the problem-solving aspects of graphic design, but then, like, I just love painting.
By placing a grid over a photograph and drawing an identical grid on the canvas, artists can plot their portrait to ensure everything's positioned correctly. But it won't work unless it's spot on.
I've made one of the grid boxes too narrow, and so it's not a square.
At just 17, Harry Wills is the youngest artist ever to take part in Portrait Artist of the Year, and he's preparing to take his AS levels a week after the competition. He mainly paints during art lessons at school, so he's considerably less experienced than the others here today.
You're taking your time?
Yeah, I've managed to mess up the grid a little bit, but I think it's fine. I just got to keep it in mind.
Given that you're right at the beginning, I don't think you want to redo those sections. Because if you're going to use maths,
yeah, exactly.
you want to get the maths right.
Yeah.
It's like the school exams. The working out is really important.
Yeah.
This is the longest I've sat still since I was born.
So tiring. I've sat before. It's hard and you want to go to sleep. I can't paint my mum in the afternoon because I look up at her and she's going... And she makes that face deliberately so that I'm going, OK, we can have a break.
Professional artist Phoebe Cripps lives in New Romney in Kent. She developed her more traditional style of painting after studying in Florence. Today, she's the only artist not using a photograph. But her technique for capturing her sitter is a lot more interactive.
I've seen that you've been chatting away. Do you find that actually helps the process and helps the way the paint comes on?
Technically, no, in the sense that they're moving. But it would be what my process would naturally be. I would get more of a connection, and I think it translates, hopefully.
Yeah. Which portrait artist from history do you love?
Where we studied, the sergeant was always the king, because he made it look so easy.
But the sergeant lesson is very important. He makes it look so easy. In lesson one, it's not easy.
It's not.
The artists are already 1 hour into their 4-hour challenge.
I definitely feel like I've got going a bit more, but I mean, I'm struggling. It's quite a challenge so far.
Just getting the likeness down first, and then I'll be a bit more relaxed.
Just got to not try to get distracted and worry about other people, what other people are doing, and keep painting.
Here at the Wallace Collection in London, our 9 artists have been painting sitters Sue Perkins, Richard E. Grant, and Nina Sosanya for just over 1 hour.
And while most artists are content with paints and brushes, one is wielding some less conventional tools of the trade.
Someone came up to me and said, Bill's about to start waxing.
Bill's about to wax.
I nearly arrived in a robe. Is this all about texture?
Pretty much. You really kind of see it once you start to put the paint on. There's like little microscopic dots in there, and I want lots of those. I don't want too many big kind of...
Big splats.
Big splats, yeah.
An amateur artist, Bill Bowen is a website designer for the Welsh Government. He made it to the semi-final of Portrait Artist of the Year 2014, impressing the judges with his unique use of wax and painted dots. But, eager to progress, Bill's been on a bit of a journey with his technique.
I noticed, looking at your self-portrait for this, that your style it's changed, hasn't it?
Yes, thank you for noticing, yes. No, it has changed, partly because of the show.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Or is that good or bad?
I think it's a good thing, yeah.
So did you discard the dots?
I did for a while. I went through a dark phase of no dots.
What I like
But I'm back to the dots again.
Because now that it's like the dots have gone away and they've come back bigger and
with,
stronger.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to paint a beautiful woman? She's very beautiful, isn't she?
It kind of is, I suppose, because my painting style is quite patchy, and so I don't do blended skin tones.
Michaela Walker is an amateur artist from Edinburgh. She chose to study for a PhD in biochemistry, but when her youngest son turned 4, she finally found time to indulge in her love of portraiture. And now you're putting on the blue.
I'm just going to try and get some of the background in, because again, that'll help me choose my skin tones a wee bit, in terms of there will be a little bit of sort of bluish reflection.
Now here, you've got your tablet. How are you using this?
Well, I used that for the initial drawing.
Right.
And then after that, it's probably going to just get ignored.
We don't worry about that now.
Yeah, because the colours are so much more vibrant in real life.
That's great. Well, on with the blue.
Thank you.
While most artists use a palette to mix the colours before transferring them to the canvas, one artist can't see the need.
I've got these blocks of paint on my canvas. They're going to stay there. I like the history of it. I like incorporating the palette. I think, you know, the blobs of paint are exciting.
Emma Leone Palmer is a professional artist from Surrey. She divides her time between helping in her mum's restaurant and painting in her studio, and her self-portrait was the first in a series that she calls Paint Play.
Why did you put the paint on your face?
It was a January, and I was thinking, oh, what should I do? This was in the studio, and I thought, OK, self-portrait. And I just started playing with the paint, and the more I looked and played, the more interested I became in.
What's interesting here is that you've got quite a tight crop here.
This is quite small for me. I think this is a good size in the 4 hours.
Exactly. I mean, although it's not as big as you might normally do, actually, in terms of the amount of head you're giving us, it's a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a
It's
big,
monumental, isn't it?
Is this annoying? Is this annoying? Is this annoying?
That's really useful. Do you have a Susan and a Sue in you?
If someone's calling me Susan, I've done something very wrong.
Sue's a restless, moving person.
She's very animated. She tried quite hard at the beginning to sit still, but now she's moving quite a lot, you know, drubbing her legs, and she's chatting. She's having a really good chat with Phoebe. It's interesting because Phoebe's painting directly her from life, no photograph, whereas the other two artists in the section...
Using tablets.
And they're not having that conversation with her. So it's actually weird. They're all in such close proximity, completely different approach.
If you had to paint Richard, how would you view that as a subject? Would it be something you'd be eager to have a go at?
I think of the 3 sitters, he possibly has the most craggy and interesting architecturally.
For me, his face, it's like a cathedral with all this cragginess, but then these beautiful stained glass, icy blue windows.
That's a fantastic simile. Have you told him?
No, I don't know. In case
face like a cathedral.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Some people don't like Gothic as a compliment.
What's interesting is that you're not looked at much by the actual painters. They've taken photographs and are painting from a screen. Something that I was very struck by that David Hockney talked about is that the difference between a photograph, as beautiful, brilliant as they can be, is that it is a second in time. Whereas a portrait, there is time compressed into it. Something happens between you and the artist that isn't fixed. And no photograph that I've ever seen has conveyed that in the same way.
We've got really a very limited range of tones here. Black, brown, blue.
Yes.
She's in blue.
Yes.
Is that
But
a problem?
I think no, I don't think it is a problem really, because I think for any artist, they're looking far more carefully at colour and light than we ever would, because we make quick decisions with our eyes. OK, you're wearing a pink jacket, but actually the more I look at the shadow and the light, it's filled with different nuances of colours in that range. So I think that the artist will find that difference in amongst the colours.
But what you're saying is that we don't look hard enough, do we?
No, and I think that's what artists do.
It's kind of fascinating. And the 3 different approaches already, without even having seen the canvas, they're all very different. One of the artists is apparently using a green colour for my skin at the moment, but we'll see what colour I end up. But I don't mind, if she wants to paint me green, that's fine.
She's got a really interesting face, really beautiful, so it'll be nice to see how that comes along, and it's nice how the light comes down her face in some different colours.
A recent fine art graduate, Millie Midgley works as a teaching assistant at her local primary school and paints in her spare time. With its texture and fine detail, her self-portrait took 50 hours to complete. Do you know, I know that you know what you're doing. Do you know why I know?
How?
Because you're painting that green, and this is blue. So there must be a reason. Why is this green?
I always use green when I do skin colours. It's always like a translucency you get through the skin.
Well, I can see that it looks promising, but I can see that it's got a long way to go because she's not green.
No.
I've used a grainy piece of wood which in the end will bring out some of the texture, which kind of suits Richard's face. He's like me, he's getting on a bit, and yes, he's got a lot of character in his face. Don't tell him I said that.
Christopher Banahan is a professional artist living in Galway. With an art degree and an MA from Goldsmiths, he won a scholarship to the British School at Rome, and a trip to Pompeii prompted him to explore ways of making his own paintings look similarly aged.
In your self-portrait, the palette is quite reduced to blue, very beautiful sort of blues and greys. Yeah. Now, here it's quite contrasty with the red background.
Yeah, I'm a blue painter and I'm facing a red background, so this is a real challenge.
And of course, it's not just the colour of your submission that really struck us, it was the crackling. It's like something unearthed in Pompeii, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I spent a long time in Italy, and that's where a lot of the ideas came together.
I can see already, though, the tilt of the head and the detail in the eyes, it's already getting that kind of classical approach, you know, like a figure from the past.
Well, thank you.
One thing I don't understand is your checklist. What is that?
It's not a massive thing, it's just a book. Look at shadow as shape, think only shape. Crisp edges of cast shadows. Just little notes that come back to the end, so I haven't forgotten, like,
but it
haven't
says
done
hair.
freckles.
You
But
wouldn't
hair,
forget the hair.
Yeah, but hair equals shapes and light. Hair does not equal hair. You don't draw it in strands, you do it in shapes and patterns.
Half squint.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Does that mean that you're
so
supposed
if I'm looking at Richard there,
and you might
like,
forget
squint
to
and you'll
half
see-
squint if you hadn't written it
I
down.
know, I haven't even done it yet, so...
Well, it's a good
thank
job
you
I
for
brought
reminding-
it up.
Thank you for getting me my book out.
There are just over 2 hours left to paint before one artist will be chosen to go through to the semi-final.
Going over the detail in the eyes, see if I can get them to come alive a bit more.
What colour are your eyes? Brown?
No, they're actually blue, really dark
Are
blue.
they are!
I've got a lot of love for you, Phoebe, but it worries me that it's taken you 2 hours to work out my eye colour.
That is awful, I assumed.
What are they? Are they blue? I might change something.
It's sort of like you tickle it and tickle it and tickle it. It never comes together at the beginning, it comes together further towards the end. So at the moment, we're just painting and hoping for the best.
Here at the Wallace Collection, our artists have been painting sitters Nina Sosanya, Richard E. Grant, and a very chatty Sue Perkins for 2 hours.
What's this pose saying to you? Is it saying sort of pensive, deep, layered, complex human, or is it just saying tired perimenopausal woman in hot room.
Oh, honestly.
And as the portraits progress, the judges have been watching.
We're halfway through. I think they're doing enormously well. But do you have any particular judgments to make at the moment?
I think they've all come on a lot. And in the last hour or so, I think there are a few that are racing ahead for me.
I mean, Bill is doing his wax, but he's doing it differently. Is it an improvement?
It's definitely an improvement because he's using the dots to have the portrait emerge rather than placing the dots on top of something in a decorative way.
Well, Phoebe's very interesting because it started green.
She's been playing around with redrawing the head, and she's the only person who's not using technology, and it's becoming better as the day goes on.
And what about the pictures of Richard E. Grant, then? How do we feel about that?
My favourite is Emma Leone's. I mean, she's got a great relationship with paint. There's no palette. She's just working the paint out actually on the canvas, which I think is great. And really good tones coming through.
Robin's, I mean, you can see his background is a graphic background. Everything's there, the eyes are fantastic. I'm quite interested to see where it goes, whether he can give it a kind of crispness that he had in this portrait.
But it is coming together, and I do feel that it might really reveal itself quite positively.
In a portrait, is there stuff that you're particularly good at and stuff that you think, oh no, I've got to do?
Stuff that I'm good at, stuff that
I can't do ears or something.
I love an ear. I
Oh,
love
you
an
do?
ear.
I can see that you're good at
I
ears.
don't like a neck. Necks are a bit of an afterthought, really. You know, they're just holding your head up, really, aren't they?
I suppose that is true.
I'm really bad at mouths. Well, not bad at mouths, but they do annoy me. I find it hard to work out whether it's like a convex shape or a concave shape, or whether it's going back and go forward. And I just struggle more with them than noses, because noses don't change with your facial expression. But with mouths, it changes so much.
So you're starting to put the hair in.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're there with the face, or?
I'm not done with the face. I just want to like outline the other features
Yeah.
that I'm probably not going to get time to do today.
But just sort of give a sense.
Just give a sense that she does have hair, you know?
Yeah, but she has a head.
Yeah.
It feels okay. Fine. I'm just itching to see what they're doing. Yeah, I'm really trying not to. I need a little periscope that I could feed round and have a quick look, but I don't think it's allowed.
So, Richard, how's the sitting experience been for you?
It's very curious because I've not had any conversation with anybody. Is it the same for the other people sitting today?
There is a lot of people working from tablets. I mean, you know, one could argue, like, you know, Vermeer used camera obscura and stuff like that. People have always used the easiest methods.
Okay.
Do you think it might be the actor in you just screaming, "Look at me"?
Well, there's already look at me just by sitting here and doing this.
guess so. Well, I'm very thrilled to have you here.
I'm likewise thrilled to meet you.
Oh, well, there you go. So at least we have each other.
We are two 59-year-old duffers.
Don't mind me.
Will you do this again if you're asked?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, just cut myself on it. I suppose because I'm a very verbal person. I don't... To be the object of such visual scrutiny is quite weird, but good and quite freeing in a way. I've got to that stage of my life where I just think, you know, this is who I am. You know, let's deal with it. Let's put it in oil. Let's hang it in a bog.
30 minutes to go.
The thing is, with the painting, you can just keep going and keep going and keep going, and it comes to a point where, you know, you just actually need to stop.
The background's quite flat, so I wanted to add a bit of pattern to it, so it looks a bit more interesting. It may be a gamble, but what the heck.
I'm feeling like kind of nervously okay. It's odd how much a single dot can affect a painting. It could either help it or hurt it. Sometimes, particularly maybe with the expression, if I haven't got it quite right, just a single dot, I'm like, oh, there it is, I got it. Or vice versa, I could lose it.
It's been mostly Sue's eyes that I've been finding hard still. I've been sort of fiddling, whether it's good fiddling or bad fiddling, I don't know. But if I don't get the eyes right, it can really let the whole picture down.
The eyes, I know it sounds corny, they capture the soul of the person. I'd like to give it a bit more substance. The soul doesn't come into it, really. That comes in the 5 minutes to go.
Earlier today, 9 artists set about painting the portraits of Nina Sosanya, Sue Perkins and Richard E. Grant. But their 4-hour time limit is nearly up.
It's going all right. It's just I didn't get enough time to do certain effects I want to do. Please, somebody, put the clocks back.
Artists, there are 5 minutes to go.
Right. Come on.
Come on, just draw the glasses on. Come on, just draw the glasses on.
It's going to be a push, but I might do it. I'll make every stroke right.
I'm worried I'm overdoing it now. I sort of have adapted my style to be quicker, and now I just kind of want to just start over again.
I can hear my mum in my ear just saying stop, 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 and it's really bugging me now.
Oh, I see something.
Artists, your time is up.
Please put down your materials and step away from your work.
Finally.
At last, the moment has arrived. As a reward for sitting for our artists, Richard, Sue and Nina can choose their favourite painting to keep. Sue, you look remarkably fresh,
And finally still, which must really annoy these guys.
You're finally settled.
I know. It's taken me 4 or 5 hours, but I feel now I'm ready to go.
OK, so, artists, could you please turn your easels?
Oh. Oh! You are so clever. 4 hours. And you've done that.
There is something about the staring off. You look thoughtful.
Yes. That can't be true. What's great about this is many people have said over the years you're no oil painting, and now I can say I beg to differ. It's just all dots, is it, or is there any line work?
All dots, yeah.
It's amazing.
But, Sue, you have to make a decision, of course. You have to choose which one of these will be forever in your life.
I'm just deeply impressed with all of them. It's very... Oh. I am going to... I'm going to go with Phoebe. Well done, Phoebe.
You see, this person is so ancient and old, I can't recognise myself at all. So they've all failed. Thank you for giving me so much hair. It's sort of Liberace-like.
Yeah, it is.
I love
it is a little bit, isn't it?
You recognise him?
I'm afraid I do. Yeah. What you've got exactly is what my wife said, is unless I smile, I look as if I'm smelling something none too good. She'll be delighted. As that most approximates what my wife thinks of me, I'll have to choose yours, Em. Sorry, boys. Oh.
Wow. Oh my goodness me, well done. It looks like someone in my family.
You?
Hair's amazing.
I'm
Me
hoping a bit like
others. That's stunning. Look at the colours are amazing. It's really beautiful.
You look like a real kind, caring, warm, loving person.
How did you do that?
I'm not saying that you are.
Completely different style. And the light, the facets of the surface of the face.
So now you choose your very, very favourite of the 3.
Okay. That's kind of tricky. It's this one.
In the privacy of an empty gallery, the judges make a close study of today's finished portraits.
I think M's really captured Richard's disgruntled look. I'm a bit doubtful about the painting around that, but I think the likeness is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's nice to see someone who's sort of really enjoying the paint and sort of pushing it around as well, I think.
You know, Robin does have that graphic design quality. It's quite a compelling thing to look at, isn't it? He does look very kind of handsome and strong.
You know, I think he works over a much longer period and actually coming and going away from something. He just didn't have that distance here.
I'm very pleased with my portrait, but I do see errors, and I wish I could have painted for a couple more hours, but that's just the way, you know, it's competition, so we'll see.
I love it. I think it's very confident.
I must say, I thought it a pity that she didn't do more, and she kept reworking the head, and I thought she was going to mess it up, and she just found more and more. She's really gone in there.
Funnily enough, I think he caught most of the character.
Yeah.
I think the passages of paint here in the cheeks, particularly around the mouth, are just absolutely exquisite. We didn't get that from him before. This is definitely a development.
They've seen my work before, so it'd be interesting to see what they think of it now, because I think I've moved on, and it'd be cool to see if they feel the same.
I love watching Michaela work. She's a real painter. Her marks are crisp, and I think she really caught Nina's character very well.
But the blocking that she did and that she promised was going to be so much apart, I think we've lost some of it, and she over-blended it slightly.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't, because everybody's got such different styles. I think there's so many good paintings there. I wouldn't like to be in their shoes, really, to be honest.
To help decide who goes through to the semi-final, the judges first whittle the 9 to 3.
We swap those round. Kate, we swap that one with this one.
That's a very strong end, isn't it?
We go with those 3, can't we, for sure?
They just take all the attention, don't they? The strong
absolutely.
paintings.
But which 3 have they chosen?
Firstly, Emma Leone Palmer.
And the second is Bill Bone.
And the third is Phoebe Cripps.
Commiserations to all those who didn't win, but you have made tremendous efforts and wonderful work, and it's really appreciated. So thank you to you.
That was a very crazy experience for me, and just working with such lovely people today, it's been a very enjoyable experience.
Judges, okay, explain to me how you came to these decisions.
Well, Bill was really difficult because, you know, we're familiar with his work, so you have to sort of bring a fresh pair of eyes and really test yourselves as to why you're keeping him going forward.
There were absolutely magical passages of paint on the cheeks and the nose. There's a real likeness in the lips.
But the hair is a distraction, and it's strange he didn't find a way to give us something there without actually putting in this strange tea cozy.
To spend so much time painting and just to be immersed in that kind of art world for a day is good. It makes you want to just go home and paint some more. Maybe not tonight, but tomorrow.
Right, well, this is a head-on picture of Sue.
It was a nice likeness to begin with, and then this afternoon, for me, it really came alive. There's a kind of twinkle in the eye.
Yeah, it's that sort of classic brand portrait that you'd want as a record of yourself.
We sometimes complain about this kind of school of painting, and the worry is when someone's quite good at a particular style of painting, you worry about who they are as an artist. And when I saw her submission, I was thinking, well, she's kind of got that quality, but actually it was her take on it, and it was beautifully, beautifully done, and a bit more contemporary. Like, there's got one foot in history and one foot in now.
I really like this, but there is an element of local councillor
It has a formality which the submission doesn't
I'm
have.
glad Sue isn't here because I think maybe she has got that sort of inner counsellor in her.
Yeah, Alderman Perkins.
I feel really tired and drained, but in a really nice way. I feel like it was an accomplished day, and it's wonderful to be picked with a 3. That's still an honour.
The third.
Emma Leone. She's an unusual artist for me because we've got this like absolute fascination with the stuff of paint, which you get here with this being the palette. I have to say I'd prefer these not to be there.
It's a slightly a device, isn't it? There's something naive about it, that sort of love of the paint and wanting to sort of place it all there. But it's charming.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that it's a great idea that one day she'll look back and think,
Yeah.
what a very good image of Richard.
You speak about it as being a very good likeness. I think she's got something wrong with this part of the face.
Swollen. It looks like he's got a big
This is
jowl.
not how Richard looks. I don't think that matters, but I think it's worth pointing out.
No, but we had an interesting idea. I've always thought, we will disagree on style,
Yeah.
but I always took likeness to be an absolute. And actually, in our discussions today, I realised I think something looks very like, and you would disagree with me. I think, oh God, that's a surprise.
I feel very, very honoured. I can't believe it. I feel like my heart's going to jump out my mouth. A crazy day.
You know, I've learnt everything I know about art from you 3.
Yeah.
4. You've said of artists before, yeah, they're really, really good, but I kind of know what they're going to give us for the rest of the competition. Do you think that we kind of know what Bill and Phoebe would give us? But there's a sense of Emma Leone of a sort of maverick streak that we don't quite know.
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think actually all 3 of them are really, really good artists. Bill's developed his style, and with Phoebe, she's a really gifted, confident young artist. And definitely, you're right, with Emma Leone, you don't know what's coming next. And that's why they're our top 3, because they're all good, strong artists who are definitely going places. It's just really difficult to work out which one you want to follow in this particular instance.
It's a great top 3, I think.
Oh, thanks.
But only one of the shortlisted artists can go through to the semi-final.
Congratulations to you all on getting this far, but as we all know, only one of you can go through.
Yes, the artists that the judges have selected have, and I quote, produced more than a likeness. They captured a sense of vitality that will stand the test of time. And that artist is... Phoebe Cripps.
I feel quite strange. I thought maybe I was going to be a bit traditional, maybe a bit boring, I don't know. So that's mind-blowing that they chose me. I can't believe it at all.
She's obviously very good at capturing a likeness. She's got that classical thing going on. It is timeless.
Phoebe's portrait was amazing. I kind of had an inkling that she might do very well.
I think the plan is tonight. I've got to get home with Mum. I think probably a bottle of something will get opened, but I think just slowly taking it in, keep pinching myself, that's going to be the best bit.